Well, good morning to everyone. This is Don, the Boone Buster. I'm heading out again on another trip. This time I'm going I'm not going camping, but I did bring my camper as far as Camp Mark, where my son is, and left it there in Merced. Then I came on up here to Colusa, and the project that I'm working on right now is a tour of the little town called Grimes, population 350. And I'm actually from Grimes. That's where my family was living when I was born. We lived there for 10 years. But the Jordan family came to Grimes in about 1896 or 7, somewhere in there. And all of their history is in Grimes. And I'll tell you a little more about Grimes when we get there. I'm going to take you up and down some of the streets and tell you and show you where things were back in the day. Because my father and all my aunts and uncles on the Jordan side were born in the same house there in Grimes. A house that my grandfather built. Nicholas Val Jordan built the house in about 1909. My father was born 1913, and they were all 2 sisters and a brother were all born in that house. And I'll show you the house. It's still there. I know the people that live there, and I communicate with them often. But I'll take you up and down the streets and show you what used to be that are now empty lots. All right. So I've got about a 4-hour drive to get up that way. This is in Colusa County, California, and so now we'll go to Grimes. Okay, I'm actually going southbound now through Sacramento. I forgot to make a video going north a few days ago when I came up here. So I'm heading south now, heading back home, but it's basically the same route. You can see the skyscrapers and everything of Sacramento. Sacramento, the capital city of California. There's downtown Sacramento, the capital city of California. You can see all the big tall buildings over there. Never used to be there when I used to come through here back in the 50s and 60s. Look at the size of some of those though. They are huge. Mighty big buildings in here. It's all glass. Here's a piece of history that I only found out about in the last few years, and I really know absolutely nothing about it other than the fact that this road is called Earp Road. And the story is that it was a distant relative of Wyatt Earp, the Western Marshal gunslinger and sheriff and all of that, and famous for the OK Corral shootout. And I'm told that one of his relatives lived down this road. And I've been down this road, and there's a house and a private driveway down there, so I really can't go down any farther. But this is Earp Road out of Colusa County. Okay, I'm in the Grand Island Cemetery up in Northern California in Colusa County. This is about 15 miles south of the county seat at Colusa. And this is the grave of Clayton Grimes. He died in 1913. And Clayton came to California, and he ended up over here on the Sacramento River, where he started a ferry and a crossing. It was called Grimes Landing, where steamboats used to come in and unload grain and whatnot and pick up stuff and take it out. And he was there long enough and built some buildings, and the next thing you knew, it was a town, and they called the town Grimes. And the town of Grimes is very, very small. The population's 350. The interesting thing about Grimes is that's where I'm from. My family lived in Grimes when I was born, and we left there in 1955, moved up to Colusa. But the Jordan side of the family came to Grimes in about 1896 to 97, somewhere in that neighborhood. And my grandfather, Nicholas Jordan, built a house, which we'll see a little later. And my grandma, Elizabeth, and they lived in that house till he died. And he died in 1930. And Grandma Elizabeth died of breast cancer in 1950. And then the house was sold to some good friends named Caldwell. And they lived there until the last Caldwell died, and that was Dorothy Caldwell. And Dorothy's sons, she had 4 sons, John, Gilbert, we called him Gibby, and Jean and Jim. And John was killed, I believe it was 1987. He's also buried out here. But Gene is my oldest friend. He and I used to play together. Let me change. But he and I used to play together in the fields there and across the street from the home place. And he's in Texas now, I think. I haven't really talked to him in years. But he and I played together when we were both under 10 years old. And Gibby, he was too young. He's just a kid. He was about 3 years younger than John. I mean, than Gene. His brain giving me trouble today. Anyway, we're going to go on down to Grimes. It's southeast of here, about another 5 miles. I can see it. I can see parts of the town over there. And I'll show you a couple of things about Grimes. Well, welcome to the mighty metropolis of Grimes. They didn't even bother putting up the population there. It's gone, but last I heard it was 350. And this is my hometown. And there isn't much here. Our old Jordan place is over here a ways. We'll go there. I know a little bit of history about this place. So I'll give you a tour. I got to stop up here at this church and see if I can talk to a pastor about some web pages and web things that I want to contribute to the history of this. Since my family lived here, the Jordan side of the family lived here since about 1898, 95, 96, 97, 90 something. Very, very, very early on, Jordans lived here, and the Jordan home that my grandpa Nicholas built is still there, still being lived in. So let's take a little tour. And this building here used to be a meeting hall. When I was a little boy, we had our Cub Scout meetings in here. I got pictures of my grandfather in his old truck delivering a piano or something. And he was parked right there by that tree. But this has been here a long time. Way back in the 1920 years, this building here was or at least on this lot, was a Chinese laundry. And it ran for many, many years. And then later on, when it closed down, it became a gas station. And it was Lawrence Grimm gas station. And I don't know if you can see any of the lettering or not. But there is lettering still visible. I can't quite read it. If you can see it up there. I can't read it. It is so gone. I can see a few letters. Over here I can see it says garage. but that's about all I can see. But this was a guy named Lawrence Grimm had this as a gas station, and I guess it's kind of a catch-all place right now. But it used to be a Chinese laundry. And back in about 1948, this was a garage, or a garage, a mechanic's garage, ran by a guy named William E. Jordan, who just happened to be my father. And he had a garage here. Didn't do very well. He ran it for probably 2 years, maybe 3. And then he sold it, and we moved down to the District 108. But this was my dad's garage right here. I remember going in it and seeing him working in there, but it was not very productive. Too small of a town. All right, going on down the street from the church, this is the livery stable, and there are pictures of this taken back in the day. Anyway, that was the livery stable, and then next to it, right here, this building, back in the day, in the teen years and 20s, this building here was a meat market. You get all your fresh meat here. And when the meat market shut down, it became a saloon. And they called it the Green Tree Saloon. And my grandfather, Gash, and his friend, the blacksmith in town by the name of, forgot his name. Give me a minute here. All right, I remembered. It's Pete Mawson. Pete Mawson was the blacksmith in town. And Pete and my grandpa were alcoholics, and they used to play guitar in here and entertain people for drinks. And across the street over here is now an empty lot, but I'll tell you about that. Okay, according to my dad, right on this corner was a dance hall back in the teen and 20s, possibly up through the 30s. It burned down and they never rebuilt it. Next door down there was a doctor's office, and next door to that was a barber shop, and it was called Al Rathburn's barber shop. And I used to get my hair cut in there when I was, oh gosh, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. And then on this corner is some more history. Of course, it was an old building, and so it had to go, and now it's a post office. And but that used to be Cook's grocery store. And the story goes, one day I went in there and I wanted some bubble gum. I was 6 years old, and my mother wouldn't buy any bubble gum for me. So I decided to shoplift it. 6 years old, my first crime. And so I grabbed a piece of bubble gum, put it in my mouth, started chewing it, and then Mom asked me how I was going to pay for it. Well, I thought she was going to pay for it. She was my mother. About that time, the county sheriff pulled up. He just happened to pull up. And so my mother went out and talked to him, told him what had happened, wanted him to teach me a lesson. So he came in and he was going to arrest me. He put handcuffs on me. I was 6 years old. He put handcuffs on me, and then they said, well, you know, we don't need a trial. We'll just hang him now. And he went out to his car, opened up the trunk, and grabbed a rope and came back in. By that time, I was peeing my pants. I don't remember what happened, but I guess he didn't hang me because I'm still here. But it sure scared the hell out of me. I never did steal bubblegum again. Directly across the street from the Cook's Market and the Green Tree Saloon was this building. This building was a bank. It was a bank of Colusa County. I got pictures of an old car right here and a lady walking right here in front of this bank, and all that's left of it now is the vault, which is back there. But I have pictures of when it was still standing, and I went inside and the teller booths were all still in there. But this is what's left of the Bank of Colusa County. It's gone. But the bricks are all still here. Now behind Cook's Market, which is now the post office, was the blacksmith shop. Pete Mawson, a World War I veteran. He had his blacksmith shop in here, and he was very good family friend to the Gash family, which is the on my mother's side of the family, and he was the beloved old guy. Always had a Roytan cigar in his mouth, and he died in that house when it was there. But that used to be a blacksmith shop right there. Back in 1954, if I was standing right here, I would be looking at the front steps to Cook's Market, again, which is now gone. Now, this building was a lumber yard for many, many years. I don't know what it is. Well, it's abandoned now, but this was a lumber yard, and I can't remember who ran it. Okay, now here's a better view of this section of town. Again, over there is the Green Tree Saloon, and right there was the dance hall. I don't know if that building is new or not. I think it's been replaced because my dad told me a fire took all this out. But these buildings I know are original because I recognize them. And one of these was Al Rathburn's barber shop. And to show you how close we are to the river, there is the levee right there. We're going to go up there now. Well, I think I'm going to have to talk over these dogs. Maybe I better wait. I just wanted to show you this building here. This is an original building. You can tell by the false front up there. Now we're going to go up here. Okay, I'm standing on top of the levee now and looking straight down this street. And that street, that crossing right there is 2nd Street. 1st Street is right here. We're on it. The levee took out 1st Street in the early 17 when they started building levees to protect us from. There's the Sacramento River right there. A lot of water. A lot of water. Anyway, to protect the city and the valley from this river flooding all the time. Every winter it would flood and cover all this with water in through here. So they started building a levee system. Corps of Engineers built it. Runs the entire length. I think it's like 75 miles long. It goes all the way on both sides. They got a levee on both sides. But when they did, they took out 1st Street. So there's in town 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street. That's it. You look on a map, and there ain't no 1st Street because we're under it, or it's under us. This is one big river. There's a lot of water. That river, by the way, happens to be approximately 50 million years old. But it never used to be here. It wandered all over this valley. That's why all the soil out here is so fertile and grows anything and everything. But over the millions of years, it changed course and has been all over this valley. But now that we have levees covering it, it isn't going to move again until we're gone. Another couple, 3-4 million years when all this washes out, which it probably will, but it's going to take a little time. That's the Sacramento River right there. All that water goes out into the ocean, if you can believe it. Oh, if the farmers down in the southern part of the state could have access to this water, which they have a little access, but not near what they need. We're now on Poundstone Street. This is the street we lived on. And that building right there is a residence now. Well, actually, it's vacant, but it used to be the post office. That was the post office that I went to millions and millions of times, I swear. My grandma would send me down here, or my mom walked down to get the mail. My dad got his draft notice through that building right there. Anyway, that's the old post office. This lot here, long before this house was built, was an empty lot. And the Gash family lived here in an old cookhouse. The Gashes was my mother's maiden name. My Aunt Bonnie was born right here on this lot. And I believe my Aunt Mary was too. But they were born here in a cookhouse on wheels long before this house was built. Let's continue on now. I don't know anything about this house, but I do remember that this was the house that my sister Peggy and I went to catechism classes to some lady who taught catechism in here in this house. We'd walk down, because we only lived across the street. We'd go in here, and we didn't much care for the catechism, but we liked the ginger snap cookies that she gave us afterwards. That kept us coming back. I think she knew that. Okay, back in 1908, my grandfather owned from this lot right here all the way down to the end of the street, this whole quarter block. And he had barley or alfalfa or some kind of crop that he raised in here. And this particular lot, after my grandpa died, these lots were divided into four and divided up between my aunts and uncles. This lot here was Aunt Jolene's lot, and right next to it, this was my dad's lot right here. And of course the house is gone now. This house burned down, but this was where I lived. This was our house my first 10 years of my life. And this was, my dad built a little house and put it in there. Next door was another lot right here. And a real nice Mexican family lives here now, Humberto Navarro. And he's kind of a friend of mine. I'm going to see if he's working in his shop out back here in a few minutes. But there was two lots right here, one here and one right there. And they were divided by about that palm tree there. And Roy England lived in one and Oscar Stewart lived in the other. And they were just nothing much more than little cookhouses. But now, the big house, this house, this is the Jordan house right here. This is my grandfather, Nicholas Val Jordan, built this house in 1909 approximately. And my aunts and uncles, all of them, including my dad, was born in that house. And my grandfather, Nicholas, died in that house. And boy, do I have a lot of memories of this house, being in this house. We're going to go around the corner now. This is Poundstone and 5th Street. Boy, they've taken really, really good care of this. This is amazing. Really good care. We'll see over here. He has a shed back here. Oh, he's not here. Okay, Humberto, if you see this video, I'm here looking for you. You're probably in Mexico now. But this was my grandpa's backyard. And he owned all of this. We're in the alley now. There used to be a wooden garage. This is probably the remnants of it here. Could be over here. I'm not sure now. The area has changed a little bit. But my Grandma Gash lived here in the house on the other side. Probably that house right there. And my Uncle Billy was killed here in a car accident in 1924. He was 4 years old. And it happened right in here somewhere, probably right in there. He ran into, it's a long story, but he was thrown through the windshield of an old Model T that had plain window glass in it. He came back and hit a tree up there somewhere, and it cut his throat, cut his vein, and he died. He bled to death. This is probably where it was, right here. Yeah, we're on 11th Street now, and this is the elementary school, Grand Island Elementary School that I went to. I got pictures of me and all the classmates sitting right there on those steps. I went here in 1951, 2, 3, and 1954, and then 1955 we moved and left, and I went to 5th grade in Colusa. A lot of memories here too, playing around in here. That's the school. This is the new school, actually. The original school is up here. Well, it's gone now too. But my dad and my mother attended this school, old school, when it was being used, and that's right here. This is where the old school used to be, right here. And of course, it's just an empty lot now. But that's where my dad and my mom and, I don't know, a couple other relatives went to school in here.